Hello and welcome back again to our online Omti Creative Talks. And today I want us to just learn more about how do traffickers control the victims. What are some of the control mechanisms that the traffickers use to control the victims? And I'm going to begin by threat to harm your family or your relatives. Most of the times when a person leaves to go to work in a different place and then they're not treated like well, they're trafficked, so they are threatened to be harmed. Oftentimes when they say that I want to go back home, the traffickers tell them that, you know what, if you want to go back home, I'm going to harm your family, or I'm going to kill your mother or your father. So because they threaten you, you are scared to even say that, you know what, I want to leave this place that they are treating me like hell. You get? So they threaten to harm your relatives, they threaten to harm your family because they think they put you in a place of, I don't want to harm my family. So you say yes and stay in a condition of being, your rights are being exploited because you fear to hurt, for your families to be hurt or your relatives. And then how they also control them, they take their documents, like the passport. They take away their passport, they cannot even move anywhere because that is like transnational trafficking. So they take their passports away and you have no way of moving from one place to another. So they take all your documents. And then they also withdraw finances. They can tell you, like, let us save your money for you. So when you really want to move or run away from such a place that you're being kept or you're being exploited, you can't move because you don't have money on you. And then in a community that you're living, people don't know you. They can even take you to be someone who commits crime. So it's really, this is one of the control mechanisms that they use, that they withdraw finances from you. And then they also use drug addiction, or they make sure that some traffickers use drugs. They make you to stay on the drugs because you're taking drugs. You don't even think of, oh, I have to go back home. You don't even think about, hey, oh my goodness, all my rights are being exploited. So you are being controlled by drugs. So it's really something that these traffickers use so often. And then there's also emotional abuse. Like a trafficker can emotionally abuse you in a way that they do something to you that you feel like you're hurt. And then they can also do something in a convincing way that, you know, if you do like this, if you go back home, now this situation is not going to change, your poverty levels are not going to change. So because they are abusing you emotionally, you feel like, okay, why should I even leave this place even if they're exploiting my rights? So you choose to stay in that place and you become a victim and they control you in that way. There's also debt bondage. They make sure you're not paying their debt, because most of the traffickers get debts from these people who are employing you, and they want you to pay it by you working. But also they can make you get a debt and you get money and you like say, you know what, now we shall be deducting that money per month. So you're working because you're controlled in that way that, okay, you know, I am working and I am paying my debt, or I am paying someone's debt or my father's debt. And then you are controlled in such a way. And then there's also fear of the police. Many times victims fear the police because especially in countries that they don't know, because they don't know whether they'll be on their side or not. You get? So they fear to even go and report the issue to them. And this happens in a way that, okay, I fear the police. I cannot even report that my rights are being violated. And so they end up being controlled because they don't know whether the police will be on their side or they will shoot them or they are full of corruption. So it is really, really so controlling to the victims of human trafficking. And then also the medical reasons. They control you in a way that if you're sick, they can take you to the hospital and then you feel like, oh, these people are so loving. Or they can also, you can be sick and you cannot even be able to do certain things or move from one place to another. And they refuse to take you to the hospital. And because you're sick, you can't move, you stay in that prison. I call it prison because your rights are being exploited. You're being exploited in one way or the other. And then they control you in a way that you're not given most of the things that you need. And so you're like, okay, the fact that I don't have this, I will stay. I will not move in one way or the other. So those are some of the ways that these traffickers control the victims of human trafficking to stay in one place and don't think about going home or running away from them. So I hope you have learned something out of it, and you've seen that some of them stay in places not because they want to stay there, but because of the situations of the control mechanisms that these traffickers use on them. Thank you so much. We shall meet another time because this topic is so big and we learn more about it every single time we meet. Bye-bye.